to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
All right, welcome to our regular meeting this Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. First thing is I need a motion to reconvene as our County Board of Equalization.
So moved, Otten.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I didn't hear what you said, so
Joel's
she's got to
not
talk into the mic, please.
Joel's not on the phone, so if you need a second, it's going to have to be Doug.
Yep, I do need a second. If you're following along on your agenda, the next thing after the pledge is to reconvene as the County Board of Equalization. I have a motion from Commissioner Otten. Is there a second?
I second it then.
Got a motion and a second. Alicia, will you call the roll?
There's no Alicia.
We're not having a, who's calling the roll?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yep, Commissioner Putnam?
Yep.
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Commissioner Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Next, we have a motion to approve our agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved, Otten.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Got a motion and a second. We call the roll, please.
Was that for the consent agenda or for the agenda?
Just to approve our agenda.
Okay. Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Commissioner Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Next, we have our consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve our consent agenda?
So moved, Otten.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All right. We call the roll, please.
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Commissioner Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Next, we have opportunity for public comment for items not on our agenda. If there's anyone who would like to come up, now would be the time to do so. All right, hearing none and seeing none, then we'll move on to County Board of Equalization, but those are not scheduled to start until 9 o'clock. So, Carly, you have kind of tell us how this is going to work today?
You bet.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, could I have public privilege?
Yes.
I would like to say a big congratulations to my daughter who ran the 130th Boston Marathon yesterday. She finished top 15% of the female runners, the top 25% in her age group, and overall about 31%, top 31%. So thank you for that privilege.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is pretty good.
That's great.
We're going to start off this morning doing an overview of how the Board of Equalization is set up this morning. First off, I want to go over a few things. Overall, our Lincoln County assessments increased 1% to 3% countywide. So with that being said, we stayed within Senate Bill 216 from 2025, which is now South Dakota Codified Law 10-6-158. That law did not impact the Lincoln County assessments for this year. Our overall adjustments remained below the 3% limitation. This year we have a record low number of appeals throughout the county. Today we'll be hearing 15 appeals, and then on Monday, May 5th, we'll hear our final appeal, which makes number 16. Appraisers had opportunity to review and inspect properties in advance, and we were able to reach agreements with a number of the appellants this year. As a result, having a single session for Lincoln County appeals is a welcome change. So we have revamped how we are setting up our commissioner agenda. Our commissioner agenda will include the briefing form. The motion is how our clerk or county auditor wishes to have it appear in the minutes. The facts and vetting is from our assessor recommendation, which was Previously, a 10 to 18 page document has now been condensed into 8 pages. There are a couple of appeals that are more than that because of the additional information that we want to present to the board. Also in your commissioner packets will be forms that we put in confidential. The PT-16 form is an appeal back form. So me as the Director of Equalization, I have the opportunity to appeal back the local board's decision, and that's in the PT-16 form. The PT-17 form is the objection form. That's the form that the appellants filled out prior to the hearings. It will have their reasoning for the appeal, the local board, if they went to local board change, the requested amount, so that's in your commissioner packet, the PT-17 form. The agenda briefing form is also included, and then our assessor recommendation. And our assessor recommendation is our presentation to you on and how we set up the appeal. It will be very similar to this. I'm going to do the podium. The first page is all about the subject. It will have the parcel number, the ownership name, the address, and all of the details in regard to the subject property. It'll show an assessment history the last 3 years. So 2024, 25, and then 26 will be over on the left-hand side. The second page will show the 3 comparables. The 3 comparables are chosen by our assessors, and how they're similar to the subject property or how they differ will be notated at the bottom. The third page is essentially the local board. If they went to their local board of equalization, we'll have the local board minutes and the requested value and the reasoning for the request from the appellant. And this is straight out of the PT-17 form. Spelling errors and all. Our final reconciliation page is where we show the 3 approaches to value. The subject, we will break it down if the land values are skewed. We'll do house only, or we'll show the total value, and we'll do that similar breakdown to the comparables using the cost approach and the market approach. And then our assessor recommendation, we'll start off with the assessment that went out on the assessment notice in February, what the local board changed it to, and then our recommendation and the reason for the recommendation. We'll also show a market analysis if it pertains to the subject property. We'll show the market analysis. It's a regression model that is new to Lincoln County, and the regression model essentially sets up primary components when properties are listed and analyzed using a market approach to value. So the cost approach to value is essentially every component of the property: decks, sheds, basement finish, bathrooms, size of the structure, attics, all of the detailed information. But a market analysis is a more condensed version, what we see in the market: total square footage, location, basement finish, the garage. It's like a six items selected by the folks that put the regression analysis together for us. So you will see a couple of those in our presentation. Just stop and ask any questions if you see something that you don't understand. This year, the assessors that we have here today are going to do some presenting. They are the folks that went to the property, talked to the property owner, did all the work. So I felt that they are best to represent the county in these appeals. So you'll have myself doing some appeals, Heather Sear, Austin Preheim, Sharon Vandestrew, April Farmer. We also have two new appraisers in the audience, Miles Van Manen and then Amanda Turner. Amanda has been in our office for over 5 years, but new to the assessor role. So they wanted to come down and see firsthand how this operates, because they're soon going to be presenting appeals on their own. With that, I'll stand by for any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Carla? All right, I don't have any.
Okay, a couple things that I wanted to bring to the board it's a little bit about legislation this year. So Governor signed Senate Bill 154, which is going to impact Lincoln County's assessments, classification, and probably taxes. And it's where we're going to now include all the garages and accessory structures related to the residential use of the dwelling as owner occupied. Much appreciated. When this law was passed, I reached out to the Department of Revenue. I said this was long overdue, 30 years. 30 years long overdue. Many counties throughout the state were doing it differently. But I am glad and honored to say Lincoln County was doing it by the law, has previously written. So we put owner occupied on the lot, the house, and the garage. Any other accessory buildings or second garages were not receiving owner occupied. So those that we are now going to call those owner occupied will see a difference in how their assessment notice might look, how their classification appears, and potentially what the taxes could do. And I have a couple examples to show you.
Can you blow that up? There we
Yeah.
go, thanks.
Can you see that?
I can now,
Okay.
thanks.
So this is out of our Beacon program, which is public access. Any public can go into Beacon and see these tax tools. So here you can see their taxes on their owner-occupied property and their accessory buildings. Their taxes are $5,599.69. With how the new law will read, got a lot of staples here. Pull that apart. Putting those all into owner occupied, it lowers the tax burden to $5,488.23. It's a tax savings of about $111. So, I mean, it does impact their taxes. Can't guarantee this will be the tax reduction for any particular property, because we don't know what those taxes are going to be yet. This is based off the 2025 pay 2026 levies. Another example, and I chose a couple different school districts as well. This tax burden was $11,244.90. Their accessory buildings were a little larger, $96,936. When you put them all together as owner occupied, it lowers the tax burden down to $10,983.85, which is about a $261 tax decrease. So it's a big deal. And I really am so thankful that this was passed. I think many assessors across the state have been pushing for this really hard since 2022. And I think that's the first year that the state, the legislation, Department of Revenue recognized that there were many counties doing it different ways. But it took 4 years to make that change. So we will be starting that project after my abstract is run, and it will be a parcel by parcel task. So we'll have to look at every single parcel. Again, it's a welcome overview of this. Do you have any questions in regards to the Senate bill that was passed?
Anybody have questions for Carla regarding the Senate bill? All right, thanks, Carla.
You bet. The last thing I would like to go over is some cleanup that will take place on the May 5th agenda. It will be placed in the consent agenda for commission approval. It will be a complete compiled list of all of the parcels that were qualified for elderly and disabled freeze. That list will be final on May 5th, the veterans exemption, and then removal of owner-occupied list. So any property owner that may have had more than one owner occupied because they bought an additional property, or they don't live there, or whatever the reason is, we send removal notices to those. Those need to be passed as a Board of Equalization. So we'll put those on the May 5th agenda in consent. So they're just a formal action by the board, very similar to other years, so.
Question being, now, if you're over 65 and you get a tax freeze, is there like an income level or anything like that?
Is there a what?
An income level that goes with that?
Yes, so that, the elderly and disabled freeze starts in the treasurer's office. So the treasurer has a set of guidelines that they are to look at. One of them is income guideline, assessment value, trying to think what else. Oh, there is now new, you have to be a taxpayer in the state of South Dakota for 5 years. So there are certain eligibility requirements that they must meet. But they start in the treasurer's office. Once the treasurer approves those elderly and disabled freezes, then they're sent up to our office, which has already been done, and then we make the valuation changes. So their taxes reflect that elderly and disabled freeze. We had approximately, at the last count, 410 applications, which doubled from last year. So they widen the criteria, they increase the income, they increase the assessed value, but they also put another tightening, and that was the 5-year being an owner-occupied owner. Not necessarily in that home.
Just as long as
As
it's
long as you were a taxpayer in the state of South Dakota for 5 years, not necessarily that home.
Thank you.
Yes. Great question. Anything else? Anything with the presentation? 10 minutes, that's what we allotted each presentation. I think our presentation takes anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes, and then give the appellant time for talking points, and then if you have any follow-up questions, myself and Donna and sometimes Austin will be ready to answer any questions. And I do apologize, Donna Eckley, who's my deputy, is also in the room as well.
All right, any final questions for Carla? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we're scheduled to start at 9 o'clock. It's 8:49. I do see Mr. Stratmeyer is in the room. Do you want to start early, sir? It's up to you. If you want to wait, we can wait until 9. Okay, come on up.
Yeah.
Whoever is here is here.
Commissioner Landine, typically Carla would do her presentation first.
Oh, yep, that's true. But you're okay starting early?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Carla.
No, that's okay.
I was getting ahead of myself there.
Good morning, and again, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Carla Gosin, Director of Equalization. Before you is the appeal for Ernest and Joan Stratmeyer located at 28503 474th Avenue in Worthing, South Dakota. It's parcel 097.50.03.A100. It's a 1.5-story, single-family home built in 1891. The total area is 1,204 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, in very poor and observed condition. The accessory structures have no value. The single-family home is currently depreciated at 90% for observed conditions, in which we observed those conditions in 2025, and no improvements to those, to that property has been made, so we stayed at the 90% observed condition. The local board lowered the land value to 0 and the structure value to $20,000. I am appealing the local board's decision for county consideration. The next few pages are pictures taken prior to the appeal to the Office of Hearing Examiners, May 21st, 2025. Light rain and mist occurred for several days in a row, May 19th through the 21st. I intended to wait for a rainier part of the week, and I caught my chance, and there wasn't heavy rain, but there was several days in a row of rain. You can see the puddling of the rain in this next selection on the left hand side, the second picture down. There is some puddling on the road, just to show that we did view this property during a rainy season, which we need now. Our accessory buildings that have no value. Here is a map of sales. I have located 3 sales of properties in below normal to poor condition, also located within flood areas like the subject. These are not necessarily comparable to the subject, but they are like the property or like the subject in the condition and within flood. Our cost approach to value, which is the detailed version of any approach to value that we use. The cost approach, which is a replacement cost new minus any depreciation, and we add back in the land, indicates the subject value is valued at $17 a square foot, and that's for the structure. And the comparables are between $55 and $85 per square foot. Our market approach value, the subject's market approach using a regression analysis indicates a value between $206,000 and $313,000 with valuations per square foot of $139 and $238 per square foot. And that's total value. That includes the land. Comparable number 1 is a non-owner occupied structures. Our notes indicate it will be torn down and a new home is built. So that is in a very poor, unstable condition like the subject property. You can see on the bottom of this page where we pulled the flood layer. The first map is the subject property, and then all of the 3 comparables suffer from some type of flood. Our next page is the minutes from the local board meeting. This shows where the local board lowered the land value to 0 and the structure value to $200,000. The appellant had requested the land to stay at $20,000 and remove the structure value. Our final reconciliation shows that the subject property is below the cost and market approaches to value. We have also broken it down, the final reconciliation, into three separate areas: structure only, land only, and total value, all indicate the same conclusion. So just the house square footage is $17 on the subject. The land is at $17 per square foot. The land per acre is 17,414 on the subject, so a total valuation $818 a square foot. We broke down each comparable in the same manner: home only, land only, total valuation. So our assessor's recommendation is no change to land and structure. This property was heard in 2025 at the hearing examiners in Pierre, and the judge affirmed the county board's value of $135,000. So the assessor recommendation is to leave the land at $121,900, the house value at $20,300. There are no values to the accessory buildings for a total valuation of $142,200. Our next set of slides are properties that have sold within a floodplain. And I just wanted you to pay attention to that first sale. It sold in December of 2024 for $168,000. Much of where the buildings would sit is within the floodplain. It's 3 miles south and 1 mile east of the subject property. But you'll see many versions of floodplain and properties that have sold. Currently, properties located within a floodplain do not affect the market value, and no adjustments have been made. With that, I will stand by for any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners have questions for staff? If not, Mr. Stratmeyer, do you want to come on up and provide your testimony?
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the document from the township. From the township, when they done the assessment evaluation on March 16th. They lowered the assessment values, as it's been discussed here, and my understanding was that if there was going to be an appeal to this, and according to this, it says that it's to be done by April 7th. The appeal that was done by the county was dated April 10th, so that's after the date. And I received my copy on the 14th of April. And with that, the information was that the information would be available for this by the 17th, which was Friday at 5 o'clock, which was just last Friday. And that would mean I would have had yesterday to access the information and so on. But then talked to Carla and she made arrangements and brought me the information, so I had the county's information before that. Anyway, that was like, I got the information 4 weeks after we had done the township, and a week after the date that this letter says that the appeal was supposed to be done. After that, in comparables, I have a question whether any of the comparables have property that were dammed up by the county and caused floods as to our property, which is the county road east and west there, 285. When the county took over the road to regrade it going south, then the culverts were supposed to have been changed and they weren't. And so consequently it became a dam. And then later when they redone the south road going south, they cut the ditches to gain material to build the roads, to raise the grade and open the ditches more, so then more water was coming. And then after that, the guy that bought the property south of us had the county cut the bottom of the ditch out. The bottom of the ditch typically along that road is 4 foot below the road. But just Sunday I went out there and it's like in the point where the high grade is supposed to be, which would keep the water from running to the north, it's 5.5 foot deep. And the county cut out like 1.5 foot out of the bottom of the ditch to gain drainage for the farm ground. And I know it too, and I guess there's others that know that they're not supposed to change the direction of drainage. We got so when you want to talk about comparables, the closest thing that is comparable would be land that's been dammed up and see what the valuation is on any of those. And here is Lake Lakota is dammed up, and part times it's dry and part times there's water in it, but there is no taxation on that because that state. And Lake Alvin is also an area where they built dams and sometimes it holds water. Ours doesn't hold water all the time, only when we get snow melt or heavier rains or a quick 2-inch rain. So as far as comparables, I don't see that there's anything comparable if they don't have a dammed up property. This here is the property where our residence is, and the drainage. The drainage actually is supposed to go right down here. It's supposed to go in that direction, but being as they cut the high point out of the road here and the ditch, the road isn't cut down, just the ditch, now it allows water to go this way, and they've never changed the culverts in this road in order to get the water to get past. So the natural drainage should be here going across there. There still is a culvert here, which has never been changed from when we moved there, which was 1977. 49 years ago we've lived in this spot. And they've never done anything to improve this one. Once the water problems were happening, after they graded this road, they put in a culvert to cross the road up here by our place, trying to divert some water, and later they put one down here. And they've also added culverts in these field driveways just to, because the water was washing them out each time. And then they came back and put a little dirt dike by the culvert here and put a cap on the east end of this one so that the water wouldn't come back. So they've thrown some Band-Aids at it, but never fixed the problem. And then last year, there was a project going on to regrade or redo the blacktop on this road here. So they ground up the blacktop, or, well, we went to find out about what the project was, and when we went to the meeting, asked about if they were gonna take care of the water problem, and they said they didn't have any money to fix that. So they weren't gonna be changing any culverts even when they regraded or repaved the road. And our house, we had to move out of our house now because my wife got sick, and anyway, we're living in a hotel now because of the conditions that are there and the mold. And because this is all problems that have been built in by the county and not taken care of it, I don't see any reason that we should pay any taxes on it. I've paid taxes for all these years that I've lived there, and they have never fixed the problem. It's been over 30 years that that this problem with the water on lighter rains and so on, or lighter snow melts, then it just comes up on the yard. But there's been 2 times that we've had the water in the house, in 2014 and 2024. We get as much as 3.5 to 3 3/4 inches of water in the house. And it doesn't make any sense to continue to paying taxes for built-in damage. So my suggestion is that they, being that we've dealt with this for 30 years and never got anywhere, that they reduce all the taxes to 0 for the next 30 years and never try to raise the rates again, because I've lived with it this long without any proper corrections. And every time that when a flood does happen, call the county and they say, well, all the people are out, they'll get them a message and see what they can do. And usually a couple days later, then they'll come by and tear out those driveways so that the water can start getting relief.
All right, any final words, Mr. Stratmeyers?
I guess that's about it.
And just to clarify, you didn't allow for an interior inspection, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to close testimony on this appeal and open for commission discussion.
The house obviously has no value whatsoever. The land, until they can get something taken care of on that, or they can revamp the land, really has not much value until it can be taken care of. It should be 0 on 0, but the land still has a little value maybe. So I guess that's up to the board to decide how much value, or if there is any value whatsoever. I guess he's paid taxes for so many years and has no usable property. So I would say we'd just 0 it out, period. But that's up to the other two.
Is that a motion?
Well, that would be a motion.
Okay, I've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, Sherry, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Aaron's,
Yep.
Otten? No. Landine?
No. Motion fails. So, I know we don't have Drew here with us. Sherry, what, if we're gonna do it, if we have a 2-2 vote, the motion fails, we can either have another motion, or we're gonna have to move this until we have more commissioners here.
Well, let's talk about it. What's your proposal then?
I'm the chair, so I don't make
Well,
motions, so Commissioner
Betty, what's-
Otten,
Can I just,
go ahead.
go and, ask that we go by what the local board and Lincoln Township said and, do, the 0 and the 20,000? I am assuming the 20,000 is the land?
Yeah, it shows up different on different papers, but that's what it was to be, yes.
Okay, that's my motion.
Okay, so you're talking like just $20,000 worth of taxable property.
So you're saying set the land at
I'm good with
20?
that.
Yes.
Okay, you're saying set the
I'll
land at,
second,
There we go.
excuse
I'll
me?
second that motion.
Okay, so I want to make sure everybody's clear about the motion. We're setting the land at 20,000 and the buildings at 0.
0.
And that is your motion,
Yes.
Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and
that
Commissioner Aaron's,
acceptable with
that was
you?
your second?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my second.
All right, I have a motion and a second.
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten? Yes. Aaron's,
Yes.
Landine?
No, but the motion does carry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Donald and Don Hoffman. And if we can move through these a little bit quicker, just because that one was about over 20 minutes. We're gonna get way off.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Heather Sayre, Assessor. Before you, the appeal for Donald and Don Hoffman, located at 47327 273rd Street, Harrisburg, South Dakota, parcel 09950032010. It's a one-story, single-family home on slab built in 2022. Total living area is 1,495 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in normal condition. The accessory structures have a value of $50,400. The local board made the decision of no change and to keep the county's 2026 values. Mr. Hoffman is appealing the county to change the local board's decision of no change. I have located 3 sales of properties which are comparable to the house. I chose comparable to because, like the subject, it is also in the proximity of a high-traffic area, Highway 115 and 271st. The subject's house and accessory buildings are on ag land, which are at a lower rate than the comparables non-ag. The following prices per square foot are being used with the value of the house minus the land and accessory buildings. The cost approach, replacement cost new, depreciation, indicates the subject's value is $183 a square foot, and the comparables between $135 and $193 per square foot for the house only. The subject's market approach, using a regression analysis, indicates a value between $480,000 to $600,000, with valuations per square foot of $321 to $401 per square foot. I also have located 3 sales of properties. also located near cattle yards, like the subject. This indicates that properties near cattle yards are selling and adjustments have not been needed to be made for this type of property. The subject value is $183 per square foot. The comparables are between $145 to $210 a square foot for the market approach and $103 to $188 for the cost approach. The assessor recommends no change. Oh, sorry, that's the local board's notes. Our final reconciliation shows the subject I'm sorry, I'm off. No. Our final reconciliation shows the subject property is within the cost and below the market value of comparable properties. I've also broken down the final reconciliation into two separate areas, the house only and the total value, all indicate the same conclusion. Any
All right.
questions?
All right, does anybody have any questions for Heather? All right, if there are no questions from the commission, the applicant can come on up. Or I should say appellant.
I was just gonna put that.
Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Don Hoffman, 47327, 273rd Street. 3 years of assessments. Last one, I was here last year. The board agreed to an assessment on this property. The house at $206,049, ag buildings at $40,000. Basically, I got one machine shed that doesn't have a, part of it is concrete for a shop area and the rest is dirt floors. The neighbors got two sheds that are bigger and completely concreted. Their assessed value only went up by a few percentage points. I got my tax assessment for this year. The structures, last year, the board had agreed to a $40,000 for the structures. I get my tax assessment, it's back up to $50,400. 25% increase. My neighbors only go up 1 or 2%. And they're only maybe 200, 300 yards apart from these buildings. My house. I've got this left. Sherry Lund's signature on it, original copy to so-and-so, county, these properties are to be assessed at this, $206,049. I get my assessment. Owner occupied, $274,000. My house just went up $70,000, rough figures, I'm not no mathematician or anything, but that's a 33% increase. Why? Like I said, this is the third time I've been down here. I understand values, things are going up. I'm willing to give 2% increase. If my house, by this board, agreed upon, was $206,000, I'll agree to say $210,000 this year, a 2% increase. I think inflation might be 2.25. But I also heard on the news yesterday that housing foreclosures are on a substantial rise in the U.S. So that's telling me that it's probably not, my house hasn't gone up by 60, 70,000 this last year. And I'm on a farm. People say livestock, they say livestock doesn't affect it. Why are 20 people suing John Morrell or Smithfield over the location of the new plant up there? Why did Jeff Broing sue over the hog plant that was supposed to go out there by his place? Livestock does make a difference, people. I don't care what our appraisers say or whatever. People don't sue other people over something like this just because they don't have nothing else to do. Son-in-law, he'll be next, but we just was running some numbers. Last Wednesday, we hauled out a bunch of fat cattle. We had somebody sitting within 50 feet of my front door of my house. You can do your comparables wherever. I'll put money on it, you cannot find a comparable where livestock trucks are sitting within 50 feet of the front door of the house. There's 5 of them sitting there, 6:30 in the morning. Just run down. 25 semis come in there to unload cattle. They're smaller cattle, so we don't need as many trucks. When those cattle go out, we have to have 42 semis, and all of them park within 50 feet of my front door when we're loading them out. Wet corn coming in, we have 70 semi-loads in. 25 semi-loads of dry corn that come in our place. Byproducts, 104 semi-loads a year, which means there's 2 semis that come by our house just with byproducts every week. 40 semi-loads of silage that go by our houses. 12 loads of supplement, what they call cattle supplement, protein stuff. 1 load of that comes in every month. Hay, if it comes in on semi-loads, it's 15 loads. If we have to haul it in by a wagon and that's 30 trips that come by that house. Manure hauling, we're up to 450 loads, and the year's not over yet. If you add those numbers up, it's closely 800 semis and loads that come in and out within 100 feet of this house and my son-in-law's house. There isn't a house in Lincoln County that would compare to my house. And I'll pay taxes on the value of my property, but I refuse to pay taxes on the value of somebody else's property that is similar to mine because it is not mine.
All right, anybody have questions for Mr. Hoffman?
So what you're proposing is if you get it dropped back down to where it was, you'd be satisfied then? Or maybe even the 2%?
Plus the 2%, yeah. Back what the commission agreed to last year. Because I do not believe that this house has gone up 7.
I'll make a motion that we do that.
If you're gonna make a motion, I need you to tell me what the value of the land is and what the value of the house is, please.
And the other buildings on this particular property?
I guess I thought we were just talking about the house here.
The value of the land would be whatever it was.
So on the last page, it has those values listed on the assessor recommendation, so you just need to, if you want to change those or make a motion on any of those values, that we need that for purposes of the motion.
Madam Chair, I can do that.
Okay?
The AGA is the 18,900 or 180,900. The AGA 1 back down to 40,000. The NAAIS adding your 10%.
No, 2%.
2%, sorry, 260,000. So that is my motion. And
2% on, I'll go 2% on the building. The AGA 1, if that goes up 2% from the 40,000.
okay, I just left it at 40 and then
Okay.
added you said 260 for the house, or 260,000.
206,000. plus
206.
2%.
There we go.
He was agreeable, if I heard him correctly, that it was 210,000.
With the 2%.
Yeah, I thought 210 is what I heard. Is that,
Yeah, I'm not gonna split hairs here on that. I mean, we're within the 2%.
and I do want to tell you that, and I believe it's correct, that this only goes, even though you're talking about last year what we did, every year it changes. So you're gonna be back here every year. They don't just leave it across the board. Every year you're gonna get an increase in your assessment, which makes you come back here again. Is that right, Carla?
That is correct.
What we decide today will not carry over into future years.
Every year is a new assessment year.
Right.
Correct.
So
Why
keep your
did my
yellow
assessment-
papers.
Basically, my assessment was 106,000, or 206,000 on the house. Why did mine go up 35%? Because I I sit here and listen to percentages and all of this.
The commission, I understand what you're saying, Don. The commission sits up here and, I think some politics play into it. The assessor goes to a lot of work setting these values, and then somebody will come up and they want to lower it to make everybody feel good. But you start at square one the next year, so you just need to understand if it does get reduced, it's gonna keep jumping up, and and that's just the way, and then it's gonna snowball, and at some point, I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, but the commission's gonna say, we're gonna leave it the same, and you're gonna end up with a even bigger increase. I just hope you understand that. So,
Yeah, I understand.
okay,
I just hope everybody understands that.
nope.
I want to be treated like everybody else.
Yep, and we know where you're coming from on that. So, do I have a motion then, Commissioner Otten?
What was the final NAA?
I had, what I wrote down was that the land would be at 180,900, that the house would be at 210, and that the other buildings would be at 40.
Correct.
Okay, that is your motion.
That is correct.
Okay, is there a second?
Would you be satisfied with that?
Yes, I would.
Okay, I second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Aaron's,
Yes.
Landine.
No. Motion does carry though, Mr. Hoffman. All right,
Thank
we're
you.
gonna move on to Benjamin and Katie Keppen. You guys need name tags, so I'm gonna ask you to say, tell me your name first again.
I'm April Farmer.
All right, thanks.
Good morning,
April.
Commissioners. I'm an assessor with the Equalization Department here in Lincoln County. Today I have before you the appeal for Benjamin and Katie Keppen, located at 47331 273rd Street, Harrisburg, South Dakota. Parcel number is 099-5003-C100. It is a one-story, single-family ranch-style home built in 1993. Total living area is 1,974 square feet, with an additional 1,194 square foot finished in the lower level. It has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, with a finished attached garage. The home has a brick facade on the front, horizontal wood siding on the remainder, an asphalt roof, standard windows, all in normal condition. I have located sales of 3 properties within 3.5 miles of Mr. Keppen's home. All of the homes are also one-story ranch-style homes on acreages adjacent to the agricultural producing properties like the subject is. The cost approach, which is replacement cost new minus any depreciation plus the land, indicates the subject's value is $266 per square foot. And the comparables between $238 and $338 per square foot. The subject's market approach using a regression analysis indicates a value between $512,000 to $666,000 with valuations of $210 to $300 per square foot. LaValle Township's local board did not make any changes to the land or the structure values, and the homeowner then appealed to the county for their consideration. Our final reconciliation shows that the subject property is within the cost and market values of comparable properties. Mr. Keppen is requesting ag status on his land, but the property does not meet the first criteria, that the land's principal use is devoted to agricultural as stated in SDCL 10-6-112. This is similar to the case heard by the Office of Hearing Examiners EQ 22-57 Elster versus Lincoln County in 2022. Is there any questions?
Does anybody have questions for April? If there are no questions, can I get a You gonna come up, Ben? All right, come on up.
What button do I push?
Good morning.
Good morning. Just a few things. Make sure I get this in the right spot so we know exactly where we're at. I'm not actually requesting egg status. I haven't done that. What I'm requesting is a fair assessment of our land. Last year, we came here, and as commissioners, you guys agreed at the time that the land was worth $30,000. A few of the things I'm going to point out here in a little bit, as opposed to what a standard acreage is. And what I'm here to show you is, I know we have our guidelines for what an acreage is. And based on what your guidelines are, we don't qualify as what you say is the egg land. But what I want to point out is, we can't compare everything to apples and apples. We have a formula that is a great guideline. I'm not going to deny that. If I lived at where any of these comparables are at, I would not be here today, and I accept it as it is. But the original part of the 40 acres was to allow people to come back and work on their family farms. Since then, what's happened is people are moving out to acreages, and we readjusted the formula, which understandably so. I'm not saying that's not the right thing to do. Okay? But what I want is to, let's bring it back to where it was last year and add the 2%. I'm not asking for change on the value of the house. I'm just looking at the land. I think that was very appropriate with the house. Okay? And as we look at this, like the thing I want us to understand when we have land, I'm going to compare it to cattle here. There are a couple different types of cattle. You have purebred cattle, which I grew up in. Those cattle are valued at quite high quality compared to what a commercial cattle would be that we feed at the feedlot there. To any normal person, they look at it, it's a cow. Okay? However, those purebred cattle can be worth up to 5 times the value of a purebred cattle. And that's what I want us to understand here is on this acreage, it's similar to that aspect of what is around this acreage. So you can see the picture of our house. I tried to highlight it so we can get an idea of exactly where we're at. We do have the family farm on 3 sides of us here. Talking about a few of the things, last Wednesday morning, this is leaving our driveway because of the semis that are in there. Driving onto the grass. That's not a comparable acreage, the ones that they show here. There are certain aspects. I don't have a lease with Don. He's my father-in-law. Okay, I'm not going to charge him to use that driveway. That's the only driveway that those big semis can get into. Okay? They can leave Don's, and typically what happens, they do come in ours and out his. If we continue to look at this and just talk about what is an acreage, okay? They, meaning if you have an acreage, don't have a payloader or telehandler beeping every morning at 5:30 less than 50 yards from your bedroom windows, okay? The other things as we look at that, the lights come in from those telehandlers and payloaders. Acreages don't have that. Vents on the eaves, you have to blow out at least twice a year because of the hay. Every morning hay gets dumped into the mixer wagon that we use to feed the cattle. And with that, then that involves dust blowing. You got to blow the eaves out. If we don't blow the eaves out, then the shingles get shot and they get about half the lifetime. Windows, don't even ask about my wife about that part, keeping those things clean. The feedlot, okay? If we go back to that original, you can see if I can get where, here's one off the Beacon Schneider. You can see our property, the feedlot is probably about 50 yards from our property, okay? New calves are bellowing all the time within 50 yards when they come in. All manure, it's sitting in piles out there. You don't have that on a traditional acreage. And that's all I'm asking is we consider those aspects of what is going on here. Hot days, we have to use our water to fill up our big water tank in case if we have any form of emergency. Because we care for those cattle so much, we don't want them running out of water. We don't want something happening to real water and not have water on hand. So we have to fill up with ours. So we have all the pressure with that. The comparables that we have, what I just want you to notice with these comparables is none of them have feedlots next to them. Are they out in the country? Yeah. About 3 or 4 times a year they'll have a combine or disc and get planted and have some dirt blow up. but they don't have the concerns we have with those eaves. They don't deal with any of that. Here's another one, okay, which I'm a little bit confused, because when I went to my Board of Appeal, they gave me the comparables, and actually this one was not one of them that they gave me. So I actually just showed all four. I'm just trying to, be fair, I guess, with whatever it is. And if we look at the other two here, here's another one. I mean, these are almost like, it's a community of acreages is what they are, okay? And then here's the last one, sorry. Just trying to show that there is nothing in terms of cattle, semis coming in the driveway the way they are. We moved there to help Don operate that feed yard. We own cattle on that family farm. We own equipment. We own the cultivator. We own a mower. We are there operating and doing those things, okay? Last night, he had issues when we weighed cattle. My son and I were gone. He couldn't do chores until one of us got back. I mean, that's how important we are with that. We have our own sweet corn business that we sell off the end of the driveway. So what I want you to understand and look at is, there's a saying with residential, location, location, location is where the value of the house is. When I first sold my house in Harrisburg, that's where the real estate agent told me, he said, you're doing great because you're close to the schools, you're within walking distance, you're in a good community. Your surroundings are awesome, okay? If I'm looking at this, there's not many people, they want to go and have that in their backyard with 800 different pieces of equipment going through, and that's not even counting planters and cultivating and stuff. That's just the big things. So I guess I just want to be treated fair with this and understand that they have a formula that works for 99% of the acreages and stuff. I think we need to consider the surroundings with that to know that there's extenuating circumstances here that play a role. So I'm just asking us to go back to what we talked about last year. I'm happy with 2%, if you had 2% onto the value of the land. Last year, township agreed to it. In fact, this year, township goes, it doesn't matter what I say, they're gonna move it up anyways. So, just, I asked for something fair with considering what's happening with where we're located.
All right, anybody have any questions for Mr.
I do.
Kaplan?
What was the valuation of the land last year, or the acreage there?
We, I should say, as counselors, you agreed to $30,000 for the value of the land.
Of the 40 acres or whatever?
Of the land that we have that's highlighted there.
Okay,
So like that driveway is the main driveway where everything comes in, and a lot of times then they come out right through where Don's is.
okay, so you live on, okay, that's where your spot where you live, Don lives
Yep,
over there,
yep.
okay.
So we live on the same farmstead is
Yeah.
what we do.
So you have this spot here deeded out to you then, you and your wife?
It is.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion?
I motion the fact that it stay the same, or 2%'s fine.
I need a specific motion on the land
Well-
and the house.
I don't see anything here. Land, house. What is what was it, or what is it? Is this what the evaluation is?
Mine was to leave the house as what is the house, 40470. So do, round to 2%, it appears everything kind of went up 2% this year. So mine was leave it at that, because I thought that was fair. And then the land to take in considerations of surroundings, operation, how that works, how the driveway, everything's used, and bring that back to 2% above the 30,000 that it was last year.
Okay.
How many acres is that of your land?
Just slight of 2.
Okay.
2. So you're talking 30,000 on the land plus 2%, and the house staying the same, or 2%?
Yep, staying at what they proposed with the house, at the 40470, yep.
Do you have a motion yet?
I don't have a motion yet.
Well, go ahead and, I would motion the fact that 2% of the 30,000 on the property, or the land and the house stay the same, or 2% above that, if that's okay with
What were those numbers again?
That is not a clear motion. If you want to do the land at 30,000 plus 2%, it would be 30,600. And he is saying that he is acceptable with the house being at 404,700.
Okay, then the motion be 30,600 and the house at 404,700.
All right, I've got a motion. Is there a second? All right, motion fails for lack of a second. Is there another motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would put the land at 60,000 and leave the house at the 404,700. We have 1 acre, outside, and we're charged 51,000. So if you have 2 acres, I'm just gonna make it 60,000.
Yeah,
I'll second that.
you got a second, Joel?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I've got a motion to have the house at 404,700 and the land at 60,000. If there's no further discussion, will you call the roll, please?
Is that fair with you?
I don't know if I have a choice.
Well,
Commissioner Putnam?
what?
Vote on the motion.
Oh,
I mean, I'm gonna take whatever I can.
I'm still talking to
We're taking
him.
a vote now.
yep, I'm
The-
still talking
The
to
motion's
him.
been made, the vote's
Yeah,
been
I'm still
called.
talking to him.
Commissioner
good with it.
Putnam?
Okay, yep, he likes it.
Commissioner Otten?
Yes.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
No, but the motion does carry. Thank you for coming in today, sir.
And you know that you're gonna be the same thing, that next year you'll have the same go-round.
Yeah,
This
but-
doesn't carry over.
Yeah, no, I hear, is there any way to like discuss it before with them so we don't have to
Yes.
use everyone's time, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, can I come in, so I mean,
Absolutely.
Instead of every year-
All day long.
and then come to agreement before, so we don't have to use everyone's time and my time and your time, and to be honest,
Assessment notice, just reach out, that's all you.
and we can do
That
that.
option's available to anybody. All right, next item. It is 9:41. I'm gonna cut this next one off at, or excuse me, 9:42. I'm gonna cut this one off at 9:52 so we can not get any more off track than we already are.
The next appeal, the property owners will not be in attendance.
Okay?
Good morning, Madam Chair
Morning.
and Commissioners. Our next appeal is...
Austin, right?
Yep, my name's Austin
Okay.
Freon. Yep, I'm an appraiser here, sorry. Our next appeal is address 27430, 471st Street, Harrisburg, South Dakota, owned by Calvin H. Shriver, and it was represented by Wayne and Amy Fisher. This is a single-family, non-owner occupied home currently. It is an acreage, it's a one-story frame farmhouse built in 1862. It has a total gross living area of 733 square foot, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. It was a finished attic, that no longer is the case. It does have 2 garages, 1 attached, 1 detached. The current assessed value on the house was $29,525. The other buildings were $30,675, and the lot was valued at $262,100, and it's 11.39 acres. Here's 3 comparables. These comparables are of older homes in the area, with it being such an old house, 1800s. We had to select a few. The first house actually was torn down due to condition, and the comparable 3 is also been classified condemned by engineers. Comparable 2 is just relative with the age. The local board made no change on the property. The appellant would like the structures down to 20,000 due to condition and age. After we did do an interior inspection that they requested, there was a lot of repair needed on the house. They're actually in the process of potentially taking it down. They haven't got the time yet to do so, but they're in the process. The house has been stripped of all the sheetrock, heat, plumbing, electric, etc. So we did take that in consideration in our recommendation. We did lower the house down to $21 per square foot, which does fall between cost and below market, but our recommendation is there, and that is based on just the interior and the condition of the interior. We put an obsolescence on it based on what was still left. And that would brought the house down to $15,562, the garage down to $30,388, and the land stays the same for the total assessed recommendation of $308,000. There is the map of some of the homes in the area, relatively close. But yeah, I'll stand aside for any questions. Like Carla said, the personal matter, they will not be attending today.
All right, does anybody have questions for staff?
You're saying the house is not livable then?
Currently not livable, nope.
Okay.
All right, if there are no other questions, the applicant is not present. Can I get a motion, please?
If you want to stay with the assessor's recommendation, you can just motion to stay with the assessor's recommendation.
Well, I would make a motion then to stay with the assessor's recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, please call the roll.
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Aaron's,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Next item we have
And I'll be
is-
dropping off now. I've got to go to a hearing, so thank you.
Okay, thanks for attending, Commissioner. All right, next we have Tantera Partners. You handling this one too, Austin?
Yep.
All right.
All right, our next appeal is located on 609 Tantera Circle, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, owned by Tantera Partners. It is an office building, the parcel number is 280.23.13.006A. It is an office building built in 2007 with a gross building area of 4,724 square foot. It does have a lower level finish of 1,957 square foot. It sits on the lot that's 21,129 square foot, just under half an acre. Current assessed value is $1,012,200 for the building at $214 per square foot. The assessed value for the lot is $213,400 with a total of $1,225,600. This has been heard at the appeal board for the last couple of years. And last year, in 2025, the appeal value for the local board was $1,050,000. Here's a couple comparables of very similar structures in Sioux Falls, all office buildings. We have the very first parcel, which is relatively close in size. It does not have any lower level finish. It does sit on a little larger lot. It's just at 1 acre, and that sold for $1,450,000, sold back in '24. With one of the more notable comparables will be comparable 3, which sits just next door to the property. Built in 2004, half the size. It does have lower level, but it is not finished, and that one sold for $1 million even on 9/5 of 2025. Local board this year made no change. The appellant was just requesting that the value stay what the local board requested last year. Here's a price per square foot breakdown, $214,000. Does fit in line with the cost and just below the market. The appellant did submit income data, but we did run it. It's just not indicative of market, so we did not use it this year. We are recommending no change currently. And here's the map if anyone was wondering where the comparable properties are. And I'll stand aside for any questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have questions for staff? All right, if not, is the applicant present?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you just state your name for the record, please?
Yeah, I'm Tom McDowell, and I own the Tantera Partners. It's a single-member LLC, so it's, I own the building and am a tenant of the building. I'll keep it pretty simple. And I did, the income statement, I know we didn't even address that, which is good, because it's actually, the income was overflated after I researched the numbers closer. But I wanted to submit it immediately. Ethan from the Equalization office had suggested I submit the income statement immediately in January so that they could take that into account. That's kind of been my story for quite a few years now, and as I look at the appeal process guide on page 3, it does reference that the accounting assessors determine the market value based on a combination of the 3 approaches, the market, the cost, and the income. And unfortunately, my office, they're large offices, which detracts from the ability to get income. And I did finish the lower level, as Austin suggested years ago. I wish I hadn't, because I didn't realize it would have such an impact on the value of the building from an assessment standpoint. But the reality is I can't rent that out. So when you look at the income, and again, the numbers that I submitted were inflated, the income was inflated by $4,052. Long story short, if you do a cap rate of 8%, it would say that the building, based on the income, which is approximately $50,000 net income, the cap rate would be $616,000 and change. And so when you add back the land, you're in that $820, $850, whatever range. And that's where it's been for for years. I just can't get any more income out of it. So I guess my request is to use the income approach as part of it, to be a combination. I came here 2 years ago, and your group was kind enough to assess it based on the income approach. So 2 years ago, the original assessment was like 1.1 or 1.2, but you guys dropped it down to 879,000 based on the income approach, which of course I was thrilled with. But this last year, I went in front of the Sioux Falls City Council, and they ended up using a blend, a combination of the income and the market value, which again I feel is the most fair. And so that's why they came up with $1,050,000. And so that's what I'm asking today, is that we, again, based on page 3 of this, that we do include income as part of it and value it based on a combination, because it, again, because of the building, I can't get the rent that maybe otherwise I could, and so it's not anywhere near the 1.2 million on an income approach. So I'm asking for you to consider a blend or a combination.
What did you say on the income again?
The income is $49,333 was the income.
Now, do you have an office in that building?
I do, yep.
And so there's like maybe 3 offices, 2 you rent out, 1 you keep?
I'm in one. Across the hall, there's a larger space. There's actually 2 different tenants in that space. And then across the hall, there's a third. And I do pay market rent for my space. So that is included in the $50,000 approximately net income. So, yeah.
All right, any other questions? If not, I'll close testimony. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. I would leave the NADC as 12,13,400 and the building at 862,850.
Okay, so, I don't know, you might have misspoke, but I just want to
Oh,
clarify.
okay.
So your motion was to leave the land at the 213,400?
Correct.
And then, set the structure at $862,850?
Correct.
Okay. That's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Commissioner Otten,
Yes.
Commissioner Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Thanks
Thank
for
you very
coming in,
much,
sir.
appreciate it.
All right, next item, just rate storage.
All right, our next appeal is 100.50.64.K005. It's located at 46936 Austin Street, T, South Dakota. It is owned by Just Right Storage LLC. It is a storage unit built in 2009, added on to in 2019. It has a gross building area of 18,110 square foot. That is consisting of two buildings. The one built in 2009 is 4,920 square foot, and the one built in 2019 is 13,190 square foot. The lot is 51,836 square foot, which is 1.19 acres. The current assessed value for the buildings is $619,000. The assessed value for the lot is $222,500. With a total of $841,500. If you look at the assessment history, there is a difference between 2025 and 2026. That is because during reappraisal, the 2019 building was discovered, which is the 13,190 square foot building. That was not assessed for the last 5 years. We did speak to planning and zoning. We did not have a current building permit for that structure. That's not saying that there was not one. It was during their year where they transferred over to a new program, and it may have got lost that way. So I can't put any blame on anyone for that. There was no appellant requested value. The local board did not make a decision on this because they went straight to county board. Here is a few of the properties that the appellant had wanted to show on here. They are good comparables. They are also within, the price per square foot that we were requesting. They are assessment equities. Number 2 is very similar, with the exception of the lot. It is almost twice the size, but it did sell for $1.25 million. And we also have 2 mini haha sales that are very similar. Appellant 4 here is smaller, older, and it has a $800,000 sale. Here's our price per square foot with the structures only. That's just because it's easier to view it that way when the land is so much larger on some structures. We have that broken down. Is a little bit more on the cost. That's generally due to height of the buildings, age of the buildings, how many doors. There's a little bit difference there. But when it comes to market, we are below market on that. That's why we are requesting no change to this. Here's the map. And then I will step aside if for any questions.
All right, anybody have questions for staff?
You said the total square footage of the buildings were 18,000?
18,110 broken into two
Okay,
buildings.
now that's adding the new building that you
Yep.
just found.
Yep, that's the two buildings. Yep, the first one
What
is
was the first one?
4,920 square foot
That's the one that,
that we currently had on assessment for the last, since 2009. Then we did the reappraisal of the T area and we discovered the 2019 storage unit. And that's why you see such a large increase of the 379,000 to the 841,000.
Because there's a whole nother building
Whole nother
there.
building, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
but now the big building was the one that was originally there. The smaller one
No,
was put in.
the 2009, the smaller one was originally there, and then in 2018, the appellant purchased the property and then built the new structure.
Okay.
Yep, the larger one.
All right, is the appellant here today?
Thank you.
Please state your name, please.
Yep, I'm Josh Nielsen with Just Right Storage. So I got confused a little bit when I started this. I gave, what's your name again? I apologize, Austin. I gave Austin those examples that he put up on the board. And then I went through and actually looked at some more properties closer to mine. So I did not have those as that documentation, but I do have those with me to show you if needed. But ultimately, I completely understand that I did not have 2 buildings assessed in the beginning, as Austin had stated. So I respect that portion of everything. After going through a couple different properties in the area, and just looking at the square footage price of those assessed buildings, every other building that I have here to present to you is around $18 to $22 per square foot, where mine is closer to $34 per square foot. I don't know if I present these to you or give them to you. I know that I didn't do this the right way, so I apologize for that.
Screen,
Okay. Oh,
one by one,
okay. Thank you.
right here,
Right.
see what it shows.
Okay. So this is a building that is within 3 blocks of mine. Obviously, you can see the parcel number of 1005064 H410. This building is roughly 25,000 square feet, buildings, I should say, excuse me. 27,600 square feet. And if you look, you can see that the value is 610,500. So that roughly has, 12,000 square feet more than mine, and it's valued smaller than mine. So that's one. Here's another one that is within a couple blocks of mine as well, on Curse Lake, parcel 1005064 H402. This building has roughly, 25,400 square feet of buildings. There's 3 buildings on the property, but as you can see, that's 461,800. And then the last one I have is within a block of mine. It is on parcel 1005064 H306. And that has a smaller amount of building space on it of only 12,000, roughly 800. And that is at $22,200 for the building. So if you just take the building space on these, they're roughly between $18 to $22 a square foot, where mine is roughly $34 a square foot. So that is what like I said, I respect the fact that a building was missed and that my tax is gonna increase because of that. But I'm just looking to get more of a comparable with the buildings in the area to buy it.
All right, anybody have questions for our appellant? If not, can I get a motion?
Madam Chair, I would go 501, 220 for the buildings and 222, 500 for the land.
Okay, so leaving the land the same and then reducing the structure by the amount that you said.
Give me the amount for the structure again.
501, 220.
And there's 2 structures, how are you gonna,
It's only listed as one structure on our,
They're going on the square footage. I assume anyhow.
all right.
Carla, do you agree with that?
Do we need to parcel them out by structure, or I've just got it as
That's what I'm
one?
asking the assessor.
Yeah, I've just got it on here as one.
We have one value
Yeah.
for the
okay.
structures.
All right, so I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Landine,
Yes, motion carries. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next item on our agenda. Gene Cooper and Alonda Makins and Gary Cooper.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Sharon Vandestreut, Property Assessor. Before we have the appeal of Gene Cooper, Gary Cooper, and Eldonna Makins located at 27961 South Dakota Highway 17, Lenox, South Dakota, parcel number 250.40.05.4000. The property is a bare piece of land located just south of Lenox. It was annexed into the city in 2018. These are the soil ratings and points. The local board made no change. When I spoke with Mr. Cooper in March, his primary concern was the special assessments added on to his property. There is a list of 2-year ag sales on here. As I said, when I spoke to Mr. Cooper in March, his primary concern was the specials added. So at this time, we make a recommendation of no change.
All right, does anybody have any questions for staff?
How many acres does this involve here?
It's 157.49 acres.
Okay.
And it is valued as the productivity system, as all ag land is in the county.
Just all ag land?
Yep.
Okay. And the structures were knocked down?
There's no
We got rid of
structures,
them.
correct.
Yeah, we got rid of everything.
All right, if there aren't any other questions, is the applicant present? If not, can I get a motion, please?
I leave the motion the way the assessors have said it.
The recommendation is 461,000 on the land and 0 on the house and 0 on other buildings because there aren't any.
I don't think there are other buildings.
Okay.
Oh, those are,
Just
they're
the
all
land.
gone.
All right, can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. Next item we have is S&S Rentals. And Carla, is the appellant going to be present for this? And you are here? Okay,
Yes.
great. You okay if we start 4 minutes early?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've been up a long time.
Go ahead.
Go
Carla.
from Aberdeen,
Yes.
correct?
Oh, my. All right.
Yes.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Carla Gosen, Lincoln County Director of Equalization. Our next appeal is owned by S&S Rentals LLC, parcel number 260.45.04.003. It is located at 502, between the addresses of 502 and 512 8th Street in Beresford, South Dakota. It is a multi-family property consisting of 8 units, built in 1999. Total square footage is 9,216 square feet. It breaks down to about 1,152 square feet per unit. Our assessment went out at $935,300. The breakdown, lot value is $110,500. Structure is $824,800 for a total of $935,300.
All right.
On the next page, you can see some comparables of multifamily properties. These are fourplexes that have sold around Lincoln County in our smaller jurisdictions, other than maybe the T property, which is comparable number 4, the assessors and myself don't feel like there's any type of Sioux Falls influence. Comparable number 1 was in Lenox, South Dakota, sold in 2024 for $511,000. In Worthing, we have comparable number 2, sold in July of 2025 for $444,000. Comparable number 3 is our oldest sale, sold for $575,000, and that was in Canton. This appeal was heard on the local level. The local board of equalization, which would have been the city of Beresford, changed the value to the appellant's requested value based on his income approach to value. I did look at the income approach to value that the appellant did submit, and this is in the breakdown on our three approaches to value. The subject property is currently listed at $101 per square foot, or $116,913 per unit. The income approach to value in which the appellant submitted was $61 per square foot, or $71,200 per unit. Our sales approach to value indicate the price per square foot between $89 and $146. And our per unit cost is $110 and $176. So our subject property is in the lower tier of the range of using the sales approach. Our comparables using the cost approach is between $55,900 and $161,600 per unit. That is a big range, but keep in mind, comparable number 2 of our comparables is a much older and smaller property, which sold for $444,000. So on that cost approach, it's an older and smaller property. The income approach was considered but not taken into account with coming up with our assessed value, because it's just not in line with what things are selling for. And the assessor's value is a market value approach to value. When one of the three approaches does not fit into the market model, it's not considered as the most credible approach to use for an assessor, because we're trying to come up with market value. I feel like we have 4 really good comparables of properties that have sold, and keep in mind, these are 4-plexes that have sold, and our subject property is an 8-plex. So with that, assessors are recommending no change in assessed value because it falls in between the market approach. It's very close to the ranges of the cost approach. With that, I'll stand by for any questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have questions for staff?
Now you got local board here. Is that like Beersford?
Yes, it would be the city of Beersford, the council members. They hear the appeals for their jurisdiction.
Okay, and they valued it at $546 then?
Yep, they went with the appellant's requested amount.
All right, if there's no other question, is our appellant here? You are. Want to come on up, sir, and just first tell us your name and then go ahead and provide your testimony?
My name is Rod Tobin. Thank you for allowing me to appear before you today. I appreciate the assessor's comments. My whole discussion is about the income approach and the effect that distance has on values in Lincoln County. The farther you get away from the Sioux Falls area, the less income you can get from a property. So I don't discount the comparables, but I will say that none of those comparables are in the city of Beersford. And Beersford is that much further away from Sioux Falls. I actually have some supplementary data that's not super germane, directly on point, but there was some census data in 2024 that showed that if we look at T, the median property value is $351,000. The same data shows that Beersford is $234,000 in value. So it's a 50% difference in value. Same thing is for median household income. In T, it's $120,000. In Beersford, it's under 80. So we hire a professional company called M&W Business Services to rent our properties. They get paid on a commission. So they are working diligently to keep those properties with tenants in them, and they charge as much rent as they can. And this is simply what this market can afford. At the current taxation rate, our cap rate would be 3.55%. That's a 3.5% return on your investment. That may be acceptable in downtown Sioux Falls, but in rural Beersford, which is really an agricultural community, not an urban community, that's a really low return on investment in that community. So in 2022, our cap rate was 7.55. In the next 2 years, property taxes are increased over 100%. And so we're requesting that we go back to a 6 cap rate, which is less than we were in 2022, but at least it's a acceptable return on the investment we've made in that community.
What's each unit rented for?
Let's see if I have the rent rolls broken down here for you. Right now, it appears that 875 to 895 to 925.
And those are single bedroom or?
Those are, maybe the assessor has that data. I don't have whether it's one or two bedroom, I'm sorry. I can get it for you in 30 seconds, but.
Each unit is 2 bedroom, 1 bath.
Okay.
Okay, the whole thing
Well, I
is
don't-
that way.
Right. And, we did receive income information in the rent rolls. We actually received a couple different examples of their rent and income, and both were just conflicting each other. So he showed me rent rolls, but then they did an Excel breakdown of their rental income, and none of the values match. So, just for the sake of, the information was not credible, because it's just what I received on April 10th from the appellant and what I received on April, I believe, 17th, they conflicted each other on the incomes.
So let me
And we
explain.
did use a cap rate of 9.02, so I'm not sure where that cap rate
Well, so the information that we have in our internal system combines both the 8-plex and the 4-plex. So I had to break those apart internally, and we tried to break that down for the assessor as she requested. So it wasn't perfect. If you look at the sheet that I have on display right now, this combined value number over there is actually just a percentage of the assessor's valuation of the two properties, because I really didn't have that broken down. So the way she assessed it was 66.59 and 33.41. So I used that percentage and carried it through my proposed valuations. When I presented this to the city of Beersford, they seemed to agree that Beersford properties don't support the rents that other properties do. They understood that if we try and jack the rates to make this make sense from an investment perspective, that we're not going to have any tenants. I don't know what was confusing to the assessor, but our gross income is pretty clear on what it generated in 2025. And when you do a cap rate calculation, you look at net operating expenses, which again is pretty clear. You take out things like mortgage, but all the other operational expenses are included. And right now, our real estate taxes in 2025 are 50% of our net income, or 50% of our net operating expense. So we're just simply asking that this go back to a value that is more in tune with the city of Beersford, given the distance that it is from Sioux Falls. Even if you look at a town like Worthing, or it's really hard to compare. That distance matters so much in Lincoln County. And it does in some other communities. Well, I live in Aberdeen, so there's some smaller communities outside of Aberdeen. But the bigger the city, like Sioux Falls, the more sensitive it is to distance is my.
Yeah, the rent in Round T in Sioux Falls is considerably higher. Now, I got one other question here. You have two different deals here now.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Are these, the 4-plex is like 8 or 9, and the 8-plex is 8 or 9?
The top number on my sheet is the 8-plex, the bottom is the 4-plex.
Okay,
So for round numbers, I would.
The same properties.
Yep.
On both parcels.
Yeah, and just for informational purposes, we had a similar discussion with the Union County folks, because on the other side of the road, we have a similar property, and the Union County folks did adjust our values accordingly. So Beersford's an interesting community with the county line running through town. I just request that you look at it from the perspective of what the income approach, because I do think that's much more indicative of values in Beersford than the comparable sales, particularly when none of the comparable sales come from Beersford itself. And taking into account the local board's evaluation of their own community.
Any other questions for the appellant? All right. I'm just doing some math here, but if anybody's got a motion, go ahead.
I do. I will go back and move to accept the local board's motion, or what they did, the land at 79,906 and the structure at 466,118.
All right, I've got a motion. Is there a second?
Okay, now, that is for both,
No, this is just the first one.
first one, okay, there we go. So, yeah, I second that.
All right, I have got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we call the roll, please.
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. All right,
I won't bore you with the same argument again for the fourplex.
okay. We have the same argument. Carla, do you want to go ahead and give your testimony on the other one?
Madam Chair, Carla Gosen, Director of Equalization. Our next appeal is 260.45.07.002, owned by S&S Rentals LLC, located at 408 and 410 8th Street in Beersford. It's a multifamily property consisting of 4 units. Total square footage is 4,608 for the property. Breakdown per unit is 1,152. The assessment went out at 469,300. Land value is 56,900. Structure value 412,400. You can see the assessment history on the property. We're using the same for sales. Local board lowered it to 273,976. I mean, I guess you're gonna probably go with what the previous motion was on the local board, but just keep in mind on this property and in both properties, so to speak, is, you're lowering a 4-unit down to what is less than a single-family property. Like, this is a fourplex valued at they're wanting a requesting value of the same value as a single-family property. I own an 1,100 square foot home. It's valued more than this. And it's not a rental property, so I'm quite confused on, this is the local board action, he's presenting the same breakdown on the income approach. It's a combination, it's just an Excel spreadsheet we received from the appellant. There's no rent rolls, no audited paper trail. It was just some numbers written in an Excel spreadsheet, and that's accepting. But this is your decision. We have the valuation breakdown per square at $102 a square foot, breaks it down $217 per unit. The income is $56 per square foot. Price per unit is $64,925. The sales is showing a range between $89 and $146 per square foot. The per unit cost is $111,000 to $176,000 per unit. Our cost approach is between $66 and $134 per square foot. Our assessed value range is between, per unit is $55,900 to $161,600. We are requesting no valuation change, leaving the value at $469,300. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Rod Tobin is my name again. I appreciate the assessor's comments about this is a 4-unit, not a single-family home. There are some rental properties that can be used either as a single-family home or as a rental unit. This is not one of them. It's the only way it's been constructed is to use as a 4-unit. That doesn't necessarily make it more valuable than a single-family home. In some cases, it's worth less. If the market wants single-family homes, then a fourplex may not be that desirable. Again, I think the fact that we hire a local professional company, M&W Business Services, to market, to get the rents, obviously we keep the properties looking nice, we're good stewards, but we are doing our best to maximize the rent value, and the income is really what the income is in Beersford. And we're going to continue to operate the properties in a clean, sanitary, safe manner, but we can't force the revenue to increase, unfortunately. And so I respectfully request that you look at the return on that investment and accept the local board's decision. I'll answer any questions.
Is it the same rent then on this as it was the
It is.
eightplex? Okay.
And to speak to that, I did provide the rent roll that M&W gave me, so this isn't something that we've just made up. And if you wanted to get M&W in here to testify to that, I'm sure they'd be happy to do so.
All right, thank you. Other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a motion?
Chair, I would move to accept the assessor value on this particular piece of property.
All right, I've got a motion. Is there a second?
And that's the 275,000, I guess. I don't see it here. The assessor's value, the 273,976 is what you're proposing?
No, it would be,
Or our assessor's recommendation, 469,000?
no, it would be set, the land would be set at 56,900 and the building be set at 412,400.
Yeah, that sounds fair. I second that.
All right, I've got a motion and a second.
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. All right. Thank you for coming down, sir. Next, we have 9 Mile SD LLC.
It is at 10:30, but they said they emailed and said they were not going to be in attendance. Did you want to start that a little early?
We've got 4 minutes. Do anybody need a short break to see if the applicant or the appellant comes to our meeting?
He's not coming.
Okay. So, all right, if nobody needs a break, then
Correct.
we'll,
Yep, they emailed and said they were not going to be there.
okay, then we'll keep
Okay.
going.
All right. Madam Chair, Commissioners, Austin Preheim, Lincoln County Assessor's Office.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Austin Preheim.
Thank you. I've only written that down like 3 different times, but thank you.
Yep. So our next appeal is parcel 260.50.31.005 and is located at 1108 West Cedar Street, Beersford, South Dakota, owned by 9 Mile SD LLC. This is a shopping center that was built in 2004 and added on to in 2014. It has an approximate gross building area of 23,125 square foot and sits on 1.70 acres. It has an assessed value for the shopping center at $1,777,300 at $77 per square foot, and assessed value for the lot at $116,300 for a total assessed value of $1,893,600 for a total of $82 per square foot. All right. The appellant did not go to local board, so it's going to be heard here first at county board. They did not request any value, other than that they thought it should be reduced to what it was last year of $1,244,200. And that was due to a sale in '22. I'm not familiar with the work that was done on that appeal, so I looked at, took it to be comparable with other shopping centers in Lincoln County. The first 2 sales are in T, and the last one is in Harrisburg. There is a sale on the first one. It's very similar to the comparable property. The sale is newer than the 10/30/2025, so it was not used in the pricing of the sales analysis for this year, but it is a good comparable, good indication of value. Here's the breakdown per square foot of 82. It falls a little bit below cost. The land only is $1.57, which falls below the cost as well, from $3.28 to $4.40. That is taking into consideration that we are closer to Sioux Falls with some of these comparables, so they are going to be higher, just as the last appellant noted. As well as the shopping center for the structure only, we had it at $77 in Beersford, and the comparables are at $76 to $96 per square foot. In the market, although that sale is newer than the 10/30/2025, I still listed it on there just to show, as at $151 per square foot, representing the $82 for the comparable property. Assessor recommendation, we said no change. Basically, because the comparable property shown, subject is only being assessed on the replacement cost, less depreciation and condition method, just like the other comparables in Lincoln County. Here's a map, if anyone's interested in where they're located. Otherwise, I will stand by for any questions.
All right, does anybody have questions for Austin?
What was the previous assessment?
The previous assessment was $1,244,400. That was a stipulation, and based on a sale that came in 2022 of $1,287,500. I thought that sale was a little out of date for what we generally look at, and compared to what other shopping centers are valued at in Lincoln County, I tried to stay equitable with them, and so I went with the replacement cost new method instead of signing a stipulation based on a 4-year-old sale.
And you have that valued now at 1 point?
Yep, it'll be right here on the board of...
1.893600.
Correct.
Okay, that's quite an increase. Was the property, anything done to the property since?
Not that I'm aware of. There was a few stores that have come in and out of there. I believe a Dollar General a few years back, so a Subway.
Okay, but the square footage has not changed?
Nope,
Okay.
not since 2014.
Okay.
And just staying equitable with other comparable properties in Lincoln County, we decided to go with the replacement cost new, less depreciation and condition method.
Austin, is there any obsolescence that's built into your recommendation on this, or is that the depreciation that you were?
Correct, that'd be the depreciation based off of age and condition.
Okay, and does that have anything to do with distance from Sioux Falls or anything since it's in a municipality?
It does not.
Okay.
Generally, that's where the land will take into consideration of $1.57 compared to $3.28 to $4.48 per square foot on land.
Sure. Okay, well, thank you for that. Right, if there's no further questions, can I get a motion, please?
I move to accept the assessor's recommendation for this property.
All right, I've got a motion. Is there a second?
Well, it seems like quite a high jump, I guess.
We don't have any testimony to support to do anything else, so I guess I would support the motion that Commissioner Otten is making. So if you do not have a second on that, I just need to know that.
Well, it seems quite high. I suppose we could go with that. Yes.
Okay,
second.
I've got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. All right, next we have Central Park Village LLC.
We did not hear back from the appellant, RSVP. This one should be rather simple. I'm gonna go to the end
We
instead
do
of.
have about 6 minutes before the scheduled time. Since you didn't hear back on an RSVP, we might want to wait.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. I'd hate for you to go 3 years and then we have to redo it. So
Okay.
we'll go ahead and we'll just take a recess until 10:40. Right, if Carla, will you go ahead?
Yes, our next appeal is parcel number 270.81.13.035, owned by Central Park Village LLC. It's located at 308 Devitt Drive in Harrisburg, South Dakota. This was heard on the local level. The local board actually increased the value with their motion. I appealed the local board's decision to be heard for county consideration to lower the valuation back down to what the assessment went out at. So this is the reason for this hearing today. You'll have in your commissioner packet form, which is a PT 16, that indicates that I am appealing the local board's decision. The assessment notice went out at $21,700 for the land. The local board, with their action, raised the value to $38,200 on the land, and I am requesting a valuation decrease on the land to $21,700. The structure value remained the same. So with that, Madam Chair, I would make that recommendation.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Carla?
I guess I'm trying to, there we go.
It's kind of unusual that the local board raises it, isn't it?
I do
don't know if
believe
I've
it was
seen
an
it.
error. Yeah, I do believe it
Okay.
was an error. We did confirm with the city board, and that was indeed their action. So with that, that's why the appeal back. If it would have been something other than their decision, we could have just corrected it, but this was their motion, and it was voted upon.
Okay.
Now, how many go back to the building? We've got multiple.
Yep, this is it's a single,
Go ahead.
pardon?
I'm sorry.
Yep, it's a single-family property. It's a townhome type property. It consists of, it's a two-story townhome built in 2022, has 1,644 square feet total.
Oh, so it's just one parcel?
It's just
of
one
that
parcel, yes, it's townhome.
Fourplex?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That is correct.
That makes a little difference.
All right, and then I know we were joined by a gentleman. Gentlemen, are you with Central Park?
No, I'm not.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there other questions for our director? If not, can I get a motion, please?
I would make the motion to go with the assessed property from Carla's group.
I'll second it.
Okay, that is a motion to approve the assessor's recommendation. Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten,
Yes.
Landine.
Yes, motion carries. All right, and then, did we have an RSVP on the next one, Carla?
the appellant is present.
Oh, perfect.
Want to start over early? Yeah, sure.
He'll speak first, sir.
All right, our next appeal is parcel 280.51.03.005. It is located at 4101 to 4109 West 57th Street, and is owned by Anovisa LLC. It is a multi-purpose, a mixed use, of a shopping center and storage units. The shopping center was built in 2023. It has a gross building area of 10,921 square foot with no upstairs or downstairs. It also sits on 1.87 acres. The shopping center has an assessed value of $1,169,600 with the square foot assessment at $107 per square foot. The storage buildings were also built in 2023. And they have a gross building area of 14,737 and 12,816. They have an assessed value of $3,458,500 at $90 per square foot. These are the storage units here. They are quite a bit different from what we're used to seeing in Sioux Falls or really in South Dakota in general. They do have large kitchen, luxury amenities such as granite countertops. It does have a large bathroom as well, 3-fix. I do have some pictures of the interior if you'd like to see them quickly.
Now, these are called storage units?
They do have a storage unit running them. This picture, I don't know how to point on that, oh, right here. Right here, there is a storage unit. This is the loft above them. And here would be on the main floor here. You're gonna have your large kitchen with granite countertops. You do also have a living room, a dining room, as well as a bathroom with a toilet sink and a shower. Quite a bit different from what, we've seen anywhere in Sioux Falls. What the real true value of these is, there's not a bunch of sales of these either, even throughout South Dakota. They are very unique, so I will state that. Carly, you want to get out of this?
Okay, now, so we're
I don't know.
calling them storage units, but they live in them.
Nope, no one lives in these. These do not have the capability to be lived in, but they do have the amenities of a house. You could use them as an office building.
As soon as I get a chance,
Yep.
I'll speak up on it.
Yep. All right, and we did make a recommendation on the second unit. We did have $1,086,100 at $85 per square foot. We made an adjustment on that to be more like the unit across the way. And that's we made the recommendation of $977,900 to equal out that at $76 per square foot. Local board made no change. The appellant requested value did not state anything, just said the tax assessment is incorrect. Here are three, I say like very loosely, as far as the storage units comparables. They do have luxury finishes. Some have lofts, mainly the third comparable. That is a listing for $685,000. That's just for the one unit. It does have kitchens, but there really isn't anything that is super comparable. Assessment 1 is in Harrisburg. They are office buildings with bathrooms and a storage run, just like the comparable property. But there are no sales on that, just equity at $96.46 per square foot. This is going to be shopping center comparables. These are all located in Sioux Falls, just off of 85th Street. They're all very comparable to the comparable property. I know at local board, he didn't necessarily have an issue with the shopping center valuation. I don't know if that has changed since. Here's a breakdown of the shopping centers and the condo structures. $73 to $76 per square foot, with the comparables at $75 to $85. And the shopping center is at $107 with the cost approach at $104 to $168. No income data was supplied, and we recommend no change. Subdivision being assessed at replacement cost, new less depreciation, and condition method, just like all the others in Lincoln County. I did make the recommendation, so to take the storage from $2,167,900 to $2,059,700 to be equitable with the other unit across the way. I will stand by for any questions. Here's the
And
maps.
Austin, we changed our original to accept what the local board did. Is that fair?
Oh, yes, yep, because local board did accept that.
Okay.
Yep, my apologies.
All right, thank you. All right, and is the appellant present? You want to come up and just start out by stating your name for us, please?
Yeah, my name is Vic Patel. I'm the owner of Anuvic LLC, and I'm also the builder for this unit. So the sole purpose of me being here is not necessarily I'm asking for a drastic price change. So from what is mentioned, so those are the marketing pictures that we see. That is how possibly somebody could set up. They are not necessarily set up that way. The other side of the thing that I want you to focus on is both building A and B, if you were to look at, majority of the space is occupied by 12 by 15, 14 by 15 garage door. Runs all the way through. Two, we can't live in them. It's just the idea was to store things in there, And if they needed to do some work or wanted a sandwich, they're able to do that. I just feel like I'm being penalized for just making it look nice. That's one of my things. The other thing, so since this has been built, we've been trying to rent them. My gross rent that we consider that I've bought some leases along with it, including property taxes per unit, is $2,000. Insurance, property taxes. At that rate, I just feel like I'm set up for failure. I'm just looking for a little bit of help. I have rented 8 units, all of them are rented for $2,000 gross. I agree that they're sort of unique, but I also want to just sort of point it out to a small-time builder like myself. If I'm not able to get some sort of leniency here, it's going to be tough for me to build in Lincoln County going forward, because it just set me up for some success here. I'm not asking for a drastic reduction. I don't have a problem with the strip mall building in the front. My issue is just the back two buildings, and I'm just looking for a little bit more of a break. I'm not looking for a huge break. I just need a little bit more break to kind of put me in the playing field, if you will. And it has been mentioned that this is not something that it's been built anywhere. The comps, I don't think they do justice. I mean, the picture that's been shown, it seems like somebody went on marketing, website and pulled out the picture and say, hey, this is what it looks like. I mean, the finishes are there, but they're not expensive finishes. There's the lowest grade of carpet, there's the lowest grade of granite. I mean, the word granite goes from $30 to $250 a square foot.
Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes, ma'am.
So the land is assessed at $835,300. You don't have a problem with the land value?
No, ma'am, I don't have any problems with the land. I'm
Okay.
just asking for a little bit of leniency
And
towards the
then-
building site.
On the storage center, or the shopping center, I'm sorry, if I'm understanding you correctly, you don't even really have a problem with that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So then the main thing is these storage.
Just the building part of it. The
Building.
land I can understand because it's sort of comparable, but just the 2 buildings in the back is what I'm looking for.
You didn't give us a number that you wanted us to assign to these? It doesn't look
No,
like.
I'm gonna
so-
leave that up to you guys. It's not something that I wanna ask for a certain number, but if there's a leniency of some sort there, it would be greatly appreciated.
Have you rented all of the storage units, I guess, per se?
I have rented 6 of them right now.
6 of them?
I have brought all the leases.
And
if
you
just-
have 8.
Yes.
I'm not gonna tell my husband.
It is designed just to park the cars and things of that nature. That's what it's for.
Commissioners, what do you wanna do?
Well, I guess I'm not sure because I don't have figures in front of me right now again.
I think what I could support, 2 of them are empty, open and empty right now.
There's 3 of them that are open and empty
How long have they been empty?
since build time.
What's that?
Since we built it,
How long is that?
about a year and
Okay.
5-6 months, coming up on 2 years.
And what do you rent those for?
$2,000 gross.
Okay.
For basically rent, property taxes, and snow removal, grass, and insurance.
And how many, there's 9 total or 8?
There's 9, I'm sorry, yeah, there is
Okay.
9, yes.
Well, it looks like the local board and the assessor has already come down quite a bit on the storage units, right? Starting with 2,167,900.
I could support leaving the land where it is, the shopping center where it is, and coming down on those storage buildings. I'd be okay with 1.75, I guess, that's where I'm going.
I'd second that.
Well, you have to make the motion. Do you want to make that motion?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Is there a second?
And so what was the motion?
The motion was to have the land at 835,300.
Yep,
The shopping center at 1.169,600.
yep.
And the storage at 1.75 million.
That does look fair.
I would second that.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'm
If-
Oh,
good.
thank you.
Okay, will you call
Is
the
that
roll,
good for you?
please?
Commissioner
Yeah,
Putnam?
anything helps, yes.
Commissioner Putnam?
Yes.
Commissioner Otten?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes, motion carries. You know, because that is such a strange property, you might honestly want to get a actual appraisal of the whole property. It might help you, it might hurt you. I don't know the answer to that.
No, that's why I didn't want to do anything, because it is unique.
Sure.
Going forward, I have a good understanding. I'm a guy that's just starting out in this field.
All right.
So this helps me, and I appreciate, this is very approachable, and I respect that.
And I
Thank
do
you,
want to
sir.
let you know that next year, this could go all back up and you're going to be here again. Because it's only good for 1 year. It's not from here to the future.
Yes, I will be back.
Okay. I always just want to let you
My
know.
rents don't go up, that's what I
All right.
have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next one is Dakota Spirit. Is the appellant for Dakota Spirit present? You are here, okay. Director of Equalization will go first, and then it'll be your turn. We're a tiny bit ahead of schedule. Are you okay starting now?
We are fine with that.
Okay, perfect.
Today,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Carla Gosen, Director of Equalization. Our next appeal is parcel number 280.51.03.006, owned by Dakota Spirit, located at 3910 West 59th Street in Sioux Falls. It is a recreational facility built in 2006. Total area is 9,824 square feet. It's just slightly under 1 acre. Our total assessment went out at $1,424,300. We have some comparables of other recreational facilities in Lincoln County. Mostly are used for assessment equity purposes. We do have some sales, they're old, they're back in 2020 on these very same comparables. We did find a comparable of a recreational facility of a little bit newer sale that was in Minnehaha County. It sold in November of 2022 for $2.8 million. Comparable, no, but they're recreational facilities. The local board heard this appeal in March 18th, 2026. The local board made no change. They felt they agreed with the assessor's recommendation, research, and documentation. Currently, the assessed value for the total property is $145 per square foot. If we just break it down into structure only, the structure only is at $92 per square foot. Looking at our comparables, looking at the same type of method, our total valuation for the comparables is between $133 and $185 per square foot. Structure only between $81 and $145 per square foot. Now, our market of these, like I indicated, the sales are older. One is in Minnehaha County. The market range is between $104 and $120 per square foot. The assessor's recommendation is to leave the valuation as the assessment notice went out, the land value at $524,800 and the structure value at $899,500 for a total valuation of $1,424,300. With that, I will stand by for any questions.
Anybody have questions for Carla? So I have a question, Carla. So your structure valuation is actually less than what the appellant requested?
I was gonna ask that too.
Okay, and the land is where the difference?
Yes, that appears to be so.
Okay. That was the only question I had for now. Thanks.
Yes.
Anybody else? All right, and we have our appellant here. You want to come on up?
This is Robin Fritsch. She's the founder of Dakota Spirit and my wife. Can she just give these to you, please?
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm John, and like I said, Robin is my wife. Just one thing about the previous sale was a building owned by a very large recreation company. It was bought by the city of Sioux Falls. It's a comprehensive physical training. They got weights, they've got everything. It doesn't compare to our building at all. So I just want to make that, there's no comparable sales at all. That sale was nothing compared to our building. Our building is 2 mats and some tramps in ground where kids can work on their competitive skills. Okay, if you could look at, here's my tax bill, and you can just see in 2022, we were at $1 million. And then we had a huge bump, 2024, another one in 25, and then here is 2026, okay? So basically, we've got a linear expansion and quite high. As far as the value of the building, we don't have a problem with that. The problem is they're saying the land is going up so high. So I have some pictures. Okay, this is our neighbor. It's the only developed in this 57th Street properties. They lost a major tenant, New York Life, and that's been open for over a year. New York Life moved out to 26 in Sycamore. They have not been able to. So that certainly doesn't suggest a real demand for, and that's an office building, obviously, but I just want to give you an idea of the land values. Here is a view from the west. We built our building in '06, occupied August 1, '07. Our land used to look just like this. This land has not changed. In other words, what I'm trying to find out is where is the increase in property values coming from? It certainly isn't in reality. Here's another view from the south. There is the balloon company down there. This is their parking lot, but you can see again, there's apartments on our north end, and they've got huge signs out, price reduction, now leasing. You know, it's not like they've had everybody moving in there. And then here's another view from, this is looking to the east, and again, it's raw land like we used to be. So I don't understand where this idea of linear increases every year. And I think we asked basically to stay at what we were in 2024. That was a huge bump from the past. And we feel we've already had our bump, and it's not, you look at those pictures, it doesn't show that kind of growth. And it doesn't show increase in property values. So we'd like to stay at what we asked the local board for. Thanks.
Thank you.
I have a question
you.
for you, though. On the appellant request, yours is about $8,000 higher than what the county assessed you.
Could you put that up, please?
Yeah, the land is the big.
The land, yeah, is the one.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Page 2.
This is not my writing. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, this is what we're asking for.
The structure, it's the structure that's the $8,000 difference then from the
Correct.
assessor. So
Yeah.
you
Don't have a big problem with the structure. You know, it's the land that, to me, is, you know, they've got it gone way up.
And this is what you would like it to be is
1.297. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm good with that. I'll make that recommendation.
Got a motion, Commissioner?
Just to clarify, you're gonna put the NADC at 389, 682, and the NADC 2 at 907, 470?
I didn't quite hear you.
Okay, well, do you wanna tell me what you wanna put the values at?
Well, evidently the land then would be at 389,682, the structure at 907,470 with a total value of 1,297,152. That was my recommendation, leave it where it was.
Well,
All right, I got a motion. Is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second. Is there another motion?
yes, I could make a motion for the land at 457, 241, and the structure at 899, 500.
And what's the total of that?
That would be 1356, 741.
Is there a second?
That work for you?
I'd rather have 2024, that's about what we did in 2025, so it's, that works fine, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, then I second it.
Got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we call the roll, please.
Commissioner Putnam?
Yes.
Otten?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes, motion carries. Thanks for coming in, folks.
And Commissioner Otten, you mentioned that I'm sorry to take your time, especially on a day like today. We'd all like to be somewhere else, but we've been here the last 3 years. I wish there'd be some way to, you know, I don't know how you do it, but thank you all very much for your time. I've been on boards and it's a
But I
thankless
will
task.
always tell you, I try to always tell the applicant that next year it could go back up and you're gonna be.
No, I realize,
again.
but that's,
Okay.
I feel we're old friends, because I remember last year.
Yeah, because
Thank you so
this
much.
doesn't go to the future.
I understand
It's just for, okay.
I understand. Thank you all so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, next item we have three. First one is Holiday Station. So we're on item 14 on our agenda. And we do need to take these one at a time.
And so did we hear back from the appellant? Are they coming?
No RSVP for them.
All right.
Well, at least we're
My
on time.
computer says it's 11:10, so go ahead.
All right. Our next appeal is 280.27.00.001A. It is located at 1927 West 57th Street, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It is owned by Holiday Station Store LLC. The convenience store was built in 1998. It has a gross building area of 8,078 square foot with a car wash. The lot size is 56,143 square foot, which is 1.29 acres. The assessed value for the building is $912,600. The assessed value for the lot is $831,000 at $14.80 per square foot, with a total assessed value of $1,743,600, with the assessed value of $216 per square foot. All right. The appellant did not go to local board, so it went straight to county board. They had requested a valuation of $1,312,012. And the reasoning is the property is appraised in excess of market value as of January 1st. The property is or may become value unequally compared with other property in this jurisdiction. Here's three comparable properties, very much like the comparable. There is one sale of land only for $1,905,053. Here the assessment, we do have all these units with car washes, ranging from the assessed value on the building of $125 to $214, with the overall assessed value of $243 to $286. I do have a couple sales. They are in Minnehaha. Two of them are in Minnehaha, and the other one is in Harrisburg. The one in Harrisburg is not on the open market, but it was purchased by Holiday Stations for $6,045,000, and that was built in 2005 with the gross building area of 4,320. We also have two in Minnehaha. They are older, 22 sales, but the first one sold for $1.8 million, and the second for $1,707,000. They're also very close in size, but they do not have car washes. Breaking down the structure with car washes, and overall is $216 with the cost. Comparables are $243 to $283 with the structure only with car washes. We are still below that. With the comparable at $113, our appellant at $113, our comparables are at $125 to $214,000, and the market for structures only is going to be $344 to $1,333. Local board did not hear this, so the assessor recommendation is no change. And it's based on that it's being assessed at replacement cost new, less depreciation and condition method. And there's the map. And I will step aside for any questions.
So on this one, the assessed value, both ways that you did it comes in lower than your comparables range all the way around, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Other questions? Is the appellant present? If not, can I get a motion?
I move to accept the assessor recommendation and go from there.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I've got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussions, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Putnam?
Yes.
Otten?
Yes.
Landine?
Yes, motion carries.
Did you want to wait till, it's the same appellant, but we're going to wait till 11:20 to hear it, just in case they show up?
I think that's probably the right thing to do,
Okay.
so yeah. So we'll take a recess until 11:20. Because it started with item 15 on our agenda.
All right, our next appeal is parcel 280.76.04.002A. It is located 6509 South Louise Avenue, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And this convenience store is owned by Holiday Station Stores LLC. It is a convenience store built in 2013 with a car wash. It has a gross building area of 7,114 square foot. It has a lot size of 81,276 square foot which is 1.87 acres. The current assessed value for the building is $1,092,500, which is $154 per square foot, and an assessed value for the lot at $1,008,700, which is $12.41 per square foot, with a total assessed value of $2,101,200, with an assessed value of 295 square foot. There was a sale on this property, 1/10 of 2020, for $4,505,000, but that was not on the open market. The appellant did not go to local board and straight to county. They're requesting $1,008,700 on the land and the building to $824,646, with a total assessed value of $1,833.46. And their reason was the property is appraised in excess of market value as of January 1st, 2026. Property is or may become value unequitably compared to other comparable properties in this jurisdiction. These are going to be the same comparables as the ones you saw prior. These first three all have car washes with the range of on the overall of $243 to $286 per square foot. And these are going to be the sales, one in Harrisburg and the other two in Sioux Falls in Minnehaha County. This is going to be their subject price per square foot of $295. And then the subject property assessed value for just the structures only is $154. The cost, we're a little high on the cost compared to the comparables. It's $243 to $286, as the appellant is at $295, but that comes from the land size. Typically, when the cost for the structure only with the car wash is $125 to $214, and we are right in between there. And the market, we are well below at $344 up to $1,333. Income was not given on this appeal. Unfortunately, there is an error in this recommendation that was submitted on here. This is the correct recommendation, and the assessor recommendation is no change. It's incomparable. We're in line with the comparable property shown, and subject is being assessed as replacement cost new, less depreciation and condition method, just like the other gas stations in Lincoln County. And I will stand aside for any questions.
Can you go back to number 1? Page.
Yeah. How do you get rid of this garlic again?
Yep, hit that.
Oh, let me see. Okay, yep. I got it.
Okay, and that one was purchased for $4.5 million,
Yep, it was not on the open market, so I don't know all the details of that sale.
but that's factual.
Yes.
You know that was paid.
Yep.
They paid $4.5 million. Okay.
All right.
This is simple.
So the one we have, I was wondering, because the requested was higher than what our recommendation was on the screen, but now this is the correction?
This is the correct, yep.
Okay. All right, is the applicant or the appellant present? If not, can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve the assessor recommendation.
I second that.
All right, I've got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we call the roll, please.
Commissioner Putnam,
Yes.
Otten. Yes. Landine.
Yes, motion carries. All right, and then our next one is scheduled for 11:30, so we will wait patiently until 11:30.
Perfect.
Thank you. 11:30 is the appellant for Holiday Station Stores LLC present. If not, Austin, you can go ahead.
All right, our last appeal today has a parcel number of 281.83.01.002A. It is located at 7414 South Minnesota Avenue, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, owned by Holiday Stores LLC. This is a convenience store built in 2017 with a car wash with a gross building area of 8,366 square foot. And the lot size is 89,367 square foot, which is 2.05 acres. The current assessed value on the building is $1,155,200, and that's at $138 per square foot. The assessed value for the lot is $1,092,500. $327,600, which is $14.86 per square foot. And the total assessed value is $2,482,800, which is an assessed value of $297 per square foot. This does have a sale from 1/10 of 2020. It was not on the open market for $1,945,500. They did not go to local board, it went straight to county board. They were requesting for the land at $1,155,200. And they'd like the building at $1,096,792 with a total assessed value of $2,251,992. And the property is appraised in excess of market value as of January 1st of 2026. Property is or may become value unequally compared with other properties in the jurisdiction. These are going to be the same comparables as the ones you've seen for the last two. First page is all going to have the ones with the car wash with the range of $243 to $286 per total assessed value per square foot. These two here are these three comparables here, one located in Harrisburg, the other two in Minnehaha and Sioux Falls. These are going to be sales, with notably the first one being 1/9/8 of 2023, not on open market for $6 million purchased by Holiday Stations. Here's your price per square foot broken down. The top line is $297 per square foot. That's going to be land and structure. With the land broken out, structure only with car wash, it's $138 per square foot for the subject property. For the comparable properties on the cost, we are below at $243 to $286, and the comparables at $125. We're a little above on the cost for the comparables with land and structure, but with the structure broken out only in the car wash, we are between $125 and $214 per square foot, which puts us right in between. In the market, we are considerably less. With that being said, the assessor recommended no change.
All right, thank you. Anybody have questions for Austin?
I do. Why does the appellant on all three of them say that the property is appraised in excess of market value as of January 1st?
They said,
It's way up front.
Yep, property is appraised. I didn't write it, so I don't know exactly what they're looking at. But they also stated that property is or may become value unequally. That's why I brought some of the Minnehaha County appraisers as well, so appraisals and sales.
So the appellant obviously wrote that.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, other questions for Austin? If not, can I get a motion to adopt the assessor's recommendation?
I make a motion to leave things as they are.
All right, I've got a motion. Is there a second?
You meant for what the assessor's office is approving now?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Putnam?
Yes.
Otten? Yes. Landine?
Yes, motion carries. Can I get a motion to recess as our County Board of Equalization?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Is there a second?
I second that.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, we're in recess. Thank you.